Hey guys, welcome to our Monday night team call. We are just checking in tonight and talking a little bit about our 30-day business challenge that we have been doing, that a lot of us have been doing on this team. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. You can still be a part of it, or you can start it, whenever you want. But the goal of our 30-day challenge is to move our businesses forward and to set ourselves up for success. So even though we're doing all these activities now, we may or may not see major changes in our business in the first 30 days, but it's that compound effect over time where you continue to see progress because you are staying consistent. Very similar to your health and fitness. If you stay consistent with your routine, if you continually show up to your workouts and you don't skip a bunch of days or whatever, that compound effect will eventually get you the results that you want, similar to your business. If you were in your fitness routine and you just worked out like one time a week and then 60 days went by and you were like, what the heck? I look the same. Well, you only worked out once a week for 2 months, you may not see a huge change. Exact same thing with your business. If we want to move our business forward, we have to take these little steps every day to getting a little bit better. So that's the purpose of this 30-day challenge. We are now on day 9 because it started on the 1st. And I know that Jamie's the only one on this call, but I want you guys, if you're watching the recording, to put some of the things that were maybe hard for you, were easy for you, so I can help you guys as we move forward, because I can remember being where you are. And a lot of times we feel like our schedule is crazy, we get overwhelmed, or something is really hard for me, but really easy for someone else. So talking about that can help. We can work together as a team. So Jamie, is there anything that stood out to you in this first week that was like the most difficult task you've had to do so far with this challenge?
I would probably say the meeting part of it, because they have that funnel that you're supposed to go through. So being to that step where you know that people have needs and wants or desires or whatever, and getting them to that meeting, it's almost like I'm at a lot of leads right now, so I don't know how to go about inviting them to a meeting without going through that whole thing, and then just initially figuring out what their needs and wants are without it being awkward. So
yeah,
they kind of had a video on that, but it's still kind of difficult.
Definitely. And sometimes it's easier with some people that you're talking to, and other times it's like pulling teeth. And I don't think that part ever changes, but how you approach other people will change over time. So rest assured of that. Some people are going to be an open book. And I started following this girl the other day and just sent the same. I think I found her and looked at some of her posts, and she had this crazy amazing story about her weight loss journey. So I just sent her a message and said this is amazing. You need to keep sharing your story. You have no idea how many people that you're inspiring, myself included. This is so great. That was it, my little message. And most people just like your message, or hey, thanks, or whatever. This girl wrote me 4 paragraphs of stuff, and I was taken aback because that normally doesn't happen. So that person is easier to talk to than somebody who just likes your message. So I totally get that. And I'm glad you brought up the live, training thing, because we started doing a while ago our Fitness is My Business events on Facebook as a team, because it's easier for us to have everything all in one place. And if at any time, and coaches on this team that have been here for a while know this, if you want to do it on your own, you just do it. Be free from the nest, do it on your own. But I like to have that team mentality for myself included, because some months I'll have 2 people that I want to invite, and some months I'll have 12. But on the months I have 2, it's nice to have other people in there, So don't feel like you have to do it by yourself, even though that's part of part of the challenge. Did you have anything that you felt like was like, oh, this is easy, I can do that, of the days?
Well, I think the quotes was pretty fairly easy. I mean, you're just kind of searching for stuff that interests you. So you're not having to like get into anybody else's life or interests,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. You can just keep to yourself.
Yeah. But I also found it pretty easy to like come up with that list of 100 initially.
Nice.
I put them all in there, but I haven't gotten to all of them yet, obviously.
Which is
but
good.
yeah.
Which is good. You know, that helps you over time, and that's awesome that it like came easily. How many, you put more than 100, right? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you know, do you remember how many?
Initially I think it was like 109. Now I'm at like 141 or something.
That's awesome. And it's,
Yeah.
like I said, it's that compound effect that you just do a couple every week or a couple every day, and pretty soon, I don't even know if you remember when I shared my screen with you guys and you saw like all those missed follow-ups and it was like 392. I mean, I was working before this and had like 22 follow-ups today. And tomorrow I have 7. Like eventually it just kind of, you kind of find a groove, but it's awesome to have that list to go off of, because to me, and I'm sure you feel this way too, when you do log in to work, it's kind of, it just tells you what to do. Like, takes the pressure off. I felt like I was drowning my first couple of years as a coach because I would want to work, but had no clue, like, who am I supposed to talk to and what am I supposed to do and what am I supposed to say? And that's the really cool part. I think in this challenge, we'll get to the part where you start making your own scripts so that your work goes faster. And that way it's more efficient. You know, you can type up a follow-up message or like a check-in message, and then anybody that you're checking in with, you personalize it, but you have your whole like spiel ready to go. And that's a huge time saver. So we'll get to that. But I'm glad that your initial list was easy. I think the quotes was easiest for me too. And I love going through and like stealing other people's and putting them in there.
Yeah, I saw Heather's post today. I was like, I gotta add that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I love finding those. And it's good too because a lot of times, you know, because they pop up when you log in or whatever for the first time that day. And if I see a good one, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to put that in the challenge group today, or I'm going to send this to somebody that I read their post and they're like having a bad day, and I'm just going to, you know, message them this quote or whatever, which is great. And then anytime you hear something that you like, if you want to remember, you can always put it in there, which is good. So I'm going to go back to my little list of things I want to talk about. The hardest thing for me, which I don't know, maybe it's because I've been a coach longer. My list of 100 was the hardest because I have most of my like people that I know are in there, right? So my list of 100, I think, was only like 83 was like my list of 100. And these are all people, for the most part, that I don't know. Like, these are all my new follows on Instagram or new people that I've friended on Facebook or whatever the case may be. And there were maybe like 11 people that I would consider like acquaintances, but the rest are just like from the internet. So that part for me was hard, but that's because I've been doing it longer. But yeah, quotes was easiest for me too. And Heather can vouch for this if she watches this recording, that live, like going live or talking about coaching or telling your story, it gets easier. She did not want to do that. Like when we did our first coach thing, oh my gosh, she was like, I can't do it. I don't know what to say. She like wrote everything down. It's like reading from paper, totally fine. I don't think she does that anymore. She just like knows what she wants to say because she's comfortable with it and doesn't feel like she stutters anymore. So that part, like, there's a book called Eat That Frog, I think, and it's just it's a book about business. Like basically do the thing that scares you and that you don't want to do. And once you do it, then you're like, okay, it literally can't get any harder than that. I can move forward. Is there anything that you feel like you are really struggling with so far in our challenge?
I would just have to say daily for me, I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but Onyx is not on a very good sleeping schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Some days he doesn't want to nap at all. So it's hard to find the time to actually get some of these items done, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. What do you think your average time that you spend?
I gotta say today, which I haven't even posted yet, took the longest, probably a couple hours.
Yeah.
But trying to get to my 100% too, so all of that together, I guess, not just the challenge for the day.
Right. And that part too, I think over time, I think it gets easier because you learn to be more efficient with your time. So that will come eventually. But I know, especially from our business message thread today, this is a crazy time, especially for moms that have kids that are going back to school or starting their new activities or getting on a schedule or, whatever. So I wanted to touch a little bit on that because, I'm not a mom and I wasn't married the whole time I was a coach. I lived with roommates and Will didn't even live in the same city. So I didn't see him during the week. So everybody's life looks different, but I still went through and had my own times of wow, I'm coaching and we're gone every weekend, or I don't get home at night until 10:30 p.m. because we had an away game that was 45 minutes and I had to drive home, and everybody's got their stuff. And the important thing is to remember, first of all, that your health and fitness journey, that comes first. Everything else, all the coaching, all the helping other people, that's important. But you can't lose sight of your health and fitness journey. That's the most important thing to me, because I know that I'm not going to be able to help other people if my life is in shambles. And I don't ever want to show up to work. I don't want to show up to help other people and be in a bad, oh, I can't believe I have to do this because I didn't even get to do this, this, and this for myself today, and now I have to show up for other people. If that's my attitude, I'm more likely to just say, not today. I'll show up tomorrow. Tomorrow will be better. And sometimes you have to do that. And the cool thing about our team and our business and all of that is that that's okay. There's no requirement for you to run yourself into the ground. There's no requirement for you to, meet a certain deadline or a certain goal. So if there are days that you don't get 100% of everything done, that's okay. And a lot of times we live off of something is better than nothing. If you threw up a post and it was a motivational quote, something is better than nothing. Done. You did that, right? So I wouldn't get too in your head, and not just you, Jamie, but everybody. Don't get too in your head about it. Remember that the reason that you want to help other people is because you are working on yourself. And that, needs to come first. And you have a family and you have priorities. And those things should not take a back seat because you're worried about, making sure that you get X number of things done in a day. Our businesses are important, and we know that, and it is a priority. So if you had to choose between Netflix and sending 10 messages, that's a different choice. But if it's between spending time with your kid and your husband or sending those 10 messages, that's a different story. So I think in terms of that, you're definitely, everybody's going to go through different seasons, and life is unpredictable and crazy things can happen. And all of a sudden your life is in shambles, or you're not where you thought you'd be, or something went wrong. The same thing happens with your health and fitness journey. You can have an injury, or you can have a setback, or you can all of a sudden be really sick and have to take 2 weeks off or 2 months off or whatever. But the important thing is that we learn to be flexible and work through those times instead of being stuck and stubborn, because that's definitely where I used to live. Like, I'm so stubborn that I'm not going to allow myself to learn, from those situations. Do you have, Jamie, a goal for this week in terms of business or your fitness or your nutrition or anything like that? Any sort of goal for the week?
I guess I don't really have one for the week, but my month goal, I'm trying to get the 3 coaches a month.
Yay!
So I guess 1 coach this week would be my goal.
Perfect. Love it. And the crazy thing about that is that sometimes people come out of nowhere. And I've had that happen to me before.
One today, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. And the more consistent you are, and you recognize those little wins, I think it makes it easier to show up the next day. Because on days where I feel like, why am I doing this? Like, my life is like, what am I doing? Then I have to go back to check in with our challenge group. And I'm like, look at how many people are in here. This would not exist if I wasn't doing what I'm doing. And I look at like our team page. I'm like, this would not exist if I wasn't doing what I was doing. Just because someone on the internet today told me that I'm stupid and I, whatever, like, that person doesn't matter. So that's good. And I would agree. My goal for this week, I had 2 girls. Well, I had 1 girl that was supposed to get signed up at the end of August and then didn't, which is fine. So I checked in with her yesterday. I had another girl who told me that she was going to sign up as a discount coach and send her share card and everything. And that was last week. She told me she was going to do it on Friday. And I'm pretty sure it's still sitting in like the viewed. So I'll just message her again this week. So my goal is to be at least SC4 by the, like, Success Club 4 by the end of the week, which would mean 2, like 1. I think they'll both be discount coaches, which would be great. But if one ends up just being a challenger, that's okay. And then definitely hit Success Club by the end of the month. That would be my goal as well. But if I could get those 2 people like to the checkout line, that would be my goal for the week. And then of course, I want to do all my tasks in the challenge and not fall behind. So if you guys are watching the recording of this and you're like, what challenge are they talking about? I have no clue what's going on. Just go back to our team call in the team page from last 2 weeks ago, because last week we didn't do one. 2 weeks ago, and there's a link there, and you can still receive all the emails. They'll all come in, or just send your coach a message and say, what's going on? I want to be a part of this, and we'll help you out. Do you feel like it's helping so far, Jamie? Do you feel like you have some sense of direction?
Yeah, I think it's helping, even just getting to know the like the setup of everything, like how to use it almost. I feel like that's what they're doing, is like walking you through each piece of their website.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I find it really helpful. And I think once I kind of get through my list and I have those the follow-up set for everybody, I think it'll make it a lot easier.
Sweet. I'm glad. Because that's a big thing. One of my goals as a coach is to help you guys see success way faster than I did, because that I know can be frustrating. Like, you're so excited and you want to help people and you want to start this business. And then if you just stay stagnant for a long time, your excitement just like goes down. So the fact that you guys are seeing success and that you're doing such a great job and being a part of this challenge is awesome, because then You'll see your business succeed. You can help your coaches succeed, etc. All right, any questions before we go? Jamie, anything that you want to add?
I don't think so.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that is that. And again, if you guys are watching the recording, I want you to post your things below in the comments. You can talk about what was hardest, the easiest thing for you, your goal for this week or your goal for the month, so that I can check in and stay accountable. But I'm so glad, Jamie, that you were able to hop on. And everyone else, don't worry. Take it one day at a time. You'll be fine. All right, you guys, we'll see you next week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.